Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is October 8th, 2023. Howard, where are you right now?
I'm in Tel Aviv. No, what am I saying? My heart's in Tel Aviv. I am in Las Vegas. It's surreal. I wrote something today. I surprised my son, took him to the U2 conference. He's a music
Conference?
at the
Concert?
Sphere. Yeah, it's just a U2 concert. I did have a few drinks. But really fabulous. Uh, Technology, light show, music. He's a music buff. I mean, you probably like U2. Everybody likes U2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows them. Yeah.
Yeah, the music was it was fun. It's fun, a little bit of everything. All right, we've got world in turmoil. We have a terrorist war going on in Gaza. We have Ukraine war. We have no Speaker of the House. We have just rhetoric, which is crazy on the right and left. Um, the the arena of political war is still Twitter, so you just have just terrible takes for on both sides. But we follow price. So what are we seeing? I mean, we're heading into seasonality, and markets generally like to start bouncing around here if they're going to bounce, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, I mean, the market is starting to perk up a little bit after most of last week and the week before. It was like a choppy action, back and forth, like a green day followed by a red day. And then on Friday, we had a follow-through day in tech, a pretty significant uh, volume here on the Qs, not on the rest of the indices, but on the Qs. So finished near the highs of the day, gained 1.7% on 150% of your average volume. So
Mhm.
the question is, are we going to see a follow through at some point next week? Because definitely there were some sectors, there are some stocks that are breaking out and they're looking constructively. And I'll give you a few examples, like especially like anything related to cybersecurity.
Correct.
You're just looking.
And I mentioned that after being in Tel Aviv a few weeks ago, AI, well, in my opinion, it'll benefit the Googles and Microsofts and NVIDIAs, the bigger companies, more on the application layer. There'll be some hard tech winners as we go down the food chain of building.
Yeah,
Um, AI, as I've mentioned for a couple of weeks since coming back and talking to my cyber tech friends and tech friends, is AI is a new platform. It's the human brain, and millions of ways that people want to get inside that human brain and hack it. So we have a whole new way, whole new application layers to for bad doing, and generally that a new platform benefits cyber. So there's, I think, CRWD, CYBR, those are the ones breaking out.
yeah. I mean, definitely there's several, not just those two that you mentioned. Crowd. Also, we have
That looks to me the best crowd.
ES, uh,
Zscaler.
TNW,
A lot
ANET.
of these are Israeli companies, Palo Alto Network. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
quite
it'll
a
be interesting this week because hundreds of thousands of men were called from these companies up to fight, up to reserves. So it'll be an interesting week in Israeli software because people are in a war.
Yeah, so this is the entire IGV, the entire tech software ETF, the strongest on Friday, almost up 3% on not on a high volume, but it was pretty significant price
A lot of
expansion.
the strength I saw, let's pull a few up. Mongo or Elastic. I think Elastic had some relative strength.
Yeah,
No,
last
no.
definitely has been holding better. I mean, they gapped up on earnings, went sideways, and now they're kind of chopping around here.
May add that as if we break out in a strong market. But again, I don't know what's going to happen this week because Israel is a center of tech.
Yeah, I
You're
don't
going
know if we'll
to
see a bounce in defense name, which has have been under pressure lately. This is the leveraged defense ETF. Let's look at weekly. As you can see, kind of has been rolling over. But an
wow.
interesting company in the field is AVAV, AeroVironment. Like they sell
An Israeli company.
drones,
Mhm.
and they had a pretty big earnings surprise a few weeks ago, gapped up, and it's been kind of pulling back towards their rising 50 days. So to be interesting to see if buyers step up here
Mhm.
at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, in general, just we had a follow through in tech, not really in
Yeah.
the other indices. So for
Google is my stock of the rest of the year. It's my FANG stock. I mean, if I was going to own one ETF stock for AI, limited downside. But again, below 130, all bets are off. But it's holding the best.
yeah,
The FANG stocks. Meta looks great too. I like the AR launch.
exactly. Yeah.
Keeping it simple. They're never going to beat Apple, but enemy of my enemy is my friend. And if their AI is good, Apple could quickly become very friendly with Facebook. So, and that never, those two look like they're going to be a war because, Apple Store and Facebook. And now that Facebook doesn't have a mobile product and has good AR and AI, is focused on AI and probably taking on China and TikTok, look for Apple and Facebook to do some kind of deal, in my opinion. They're both acting, it's acting like better than the stock should act.
Mhm.
So something, Facebook, Google, or Meta, I hate the name Meta, but Meta, Google look fantastic.
It's
And
interesting that Google did, they had the same, remember Google smart glasses 10 years ago? They just didn't work out. I guess the technology didn't exist at the time, and now
they
AI.
were complicated, right? Like again, do you want to wear Google Glass or do you want to wear Ray-Ban glasses with Google technology? Remember, fashion and technology, which I call it fashology, and I think this is the era of fashology, right? I think we go tech light. I think the next boom is driven by the big cash-rich tech companies because they have distribution, they have balance sheets. I mean, they will do acquisitions, but it's going to be driven more by brands. And brands, it's complicated to build a brand, and people don't want to strap on Google glasses. They might strap on the Apple $4,000 glasses because they want to be left alone on an airplane. But that's a different idea than Apple's. I've seen Apple's Facebook glasses used them on the beach in Israel, and they're fantastic. They're interesting, and you can wear them by yourself and take pictures and do search, and it's somewhat interesting. And it's Ray-Ban, right? They're $200-300. So fashion is implied that you trust the brand for fashion. So those are interesting. Obviously, this week will be driven by the dollar and oil, and no one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, dollar oil and obviously rates. I mean, rates finally, and the US dollar.
Right, but Treasury should come in. People are going to rush to Treasury. So the question is, what happens with the dollar and oil, with the war? This is not going to be a short war. Um, Israel called hundreds of thousands of reserves. They, I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's Gaza is going to be under attack. Gaza is a very dense area, and from friends that I've talked to in my WhatsApp groups, door to door stuff is not going to take a week to root out what Israel wants to root out. So there will be a lot of headline noise, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with energy. Energy was in a big pullback. If you look at Exxon,
Yeah,
Ivan,
definitely.
looking at buying some,
It's
and
still in a range, though. Yeah.
yeah, but I was looking at buying some last week, not knowing the war was going to escalate. So I'm watching oil. I'm going to watch to see if, because of Israel, there's a pullback in cyber that may be viable. But and we'll check in next week, and you and I'll go for a run tomorrow and catch up.
All right.
All right, everybody, have a great Sunday.
All right. Bye.